Let's Talk Oculus, a VR podcast, is proudly sponsored by the good folks at Patreon. If you want to support the show, join us on patreon.com/Let's Talk Oculus. What's up, Oculus nerds? Welcome back to Let's Talk Oculus, episode 57. I'm Dan, and with me, as always, 20,000 under the sea. It's Samson. How you doing?
According to our backgrounds, you're the one who's under the sea.
I am under the sea.
I'm doing quite well. Got in a good amount of gaming, both VR and 2D this week. It was a quality gaming week.
Yeah. You got to flex those Steam Deck. You know, now that you've waited for so long, you can't just abandon it after a week now.
Yeah, it wasn't only on the Steam Deck, but there was a good amount of Steam Decking.
Interesting.
Is that a word? I'm making that a word now.
Steam Decking?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that could be an appropriate word one day. Steam Decking, or it could be like some sort of violent act.
Man,
you're getting Steam.
I got Steam Decked last night. It was brutal. Jenna might take that a different way. I don't know. Jenna
in the Discord will definitely take that a different way. All right. So today we're 2 weeks away from the Quest Pro, the Cambria, at least the announcement, I would say, at least the official release date on Meta Connect. But there's a new challenger. We got the Pico 4 that was revealed this past week. So we'll be discussing that announcement, give our thoughts on what we think about it. We're not going to kind of break it down exactly. Like, if you want to see that, look at Upload VR, look at the conference, but we'll just have our thoughts because there's a lot of hints of what the Quest 3 will be like. So we'll definitely look at that. Also, Bonelab is releasing Thursday.
That was fast. Yeah,
I swear when we had Jasmine on the last podcast, I remember saying that probably November made sense for that, so that quickly got outdated.
Yeah, that won't age well.
Yeah, definitely. But before we kind of get into everything, just like normal, we've got a bit of housekeeping. Let's Talk Oculus releases every single Wednesday on all good podcast platforms and some rubbish ones as well. You can watch the video version on YouTube. Soon, you can watch the video version on Spotify, but not yet, but very soon. And we also have a Discord where we often have multiplayer games and watch movies and big screen together. In fact, I feel like this Thursday, when Walkabout does get announced, we'll have a little bit of a gathering. I don't know how many people are going to show up. I know you're tentative right now, Samson.
Yeah, we've been doing them Wednesday nights too. So, but I know that's before the course. But we'll probably be hanging out Wednesday night as well. It's sort of been a thing. I think it might persist to be a thing. Once we hit the third week in a row, at that point you're like, you set in stone in my book, right?
I feel like every Wednesdays has seemed to be the trend now. It seems like when everyone is free and everyone has some time. So and that's cool because it kind of lines up for when the podcast drops. So it's like, join us tonight for But if you want to join like a community, ever-growing community, we just got another Discord member in this morning actually. Straight away asked for some PC tips. I saw that, and you went straight for it for the now, Samson. I want to just clarify something here. The wireless box that transmits the Wi-Fi signals and brings it into your room. Do you call it a router or a router? I just need
It is the Wi-Fi router.
Router, okay. Because we say router back at home. Back in the UK.
Yeah, no. I would understand what you meant, but a router is somebody who comes and eliminates roots.
Okay.
A plumber, if you will.
That's a landscaper.
No. I was thinking like from the pipes, like a de-rooter, when you get yeah.
You know what I found out this week? That here in North America, you refer to what you call a vest completely differently than the UK. The UK, a vest is a tank top. But
okay, like just any sleeveless shirt is a vest.
Yeah, is a vest. You. But then so that's what we call a tank top is a vest. But then you obviously call a vest like a bomber jacket.
No, not a vest. Yeah, I was gonna say, what the hell do you call them then?
I don't know. A jacket, a sleeveless jacket.
No.
Anyway, lost in translation.
It's just vests are not in the Brits' wardrobe, I guess.
Well,
I mean,
normally,
they're on the suits, right? A lot of suits, the three-piece suit
ah,
is what do you call that, right? What do you call it then?
we call that part a waistcoat. We call it a
Okay.
waist. Yeah, that part underneath the blazer is called the waistcoat, which is
You
over the dress
know,
shirt.
the waist is below any part of the of
Yeah.
what the
Look,
vest.
I don't
Okay.
make this stuff up, but it's just
It
there's a
should be
lot
an
of
above waistcoat.
there's a lot of lost in translation here at the house. I live with two Canadians, so we're we're very conflicted.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah,
Need a
so
dictionary.
So yeah, I'm glad we could clear that up. Anyway, back into the let's talk English and North
Yeah,
American
and
English.
to the point, to the question. The question was asking about which router
Mhm.
uh to get for PCVR for Airlink. Um and what I suggested is Meta's got this thing coming out soon that's supposed to be for if you have weak Wi-Fi or whatever that you just use. I'm pretty intrigued by it. I mean, I have a quality router.
Mm-hmm. Router?
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to use your way, but
No, no,
it's
no. Stick
just
with the
it's
routers.
cringe. It's cringe. Um, anyway, I have a quality router. It works very well with me, so I put that up there as well. But if I didn't have that right now, I would probably I'd wait and see because they're probably going to announce it at Connect.
Oh well, yeah, the Meta Connect. Yeah,
Yeah,
I would say so too. I would say, especially because it's only a couple weeks away. You might as well for sure. But it's
yeah.
not a bad router. Anyway, but
It's
yeah,
it's not a bad route to take.
yeah, it's not a bad.
Yeah.
That makes sense with the Wi-Fi. It takes a route, the path to get. No, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I do use like what I live near a street and it's called Route 1.
Mm,
So
mm, mm.
there's an ROUT I pronounce route.
I mean, that makes sense. Route, yeah. We would also say a route is like a path. Like, oh, here's which path to take. Oh, you should take this route. Is that
Yeah, but then I use route.
right? Anyway, we're confusing the listeners. For any new listeners here, um, normally
We
this is
normally
a
have good direction.
yeah, normally this is structured, but yeah, it's a Sunday, um, football day. We've had some weird football results, across the board. So yeah. Anyway, let's get back into the podcast. So Samson, you said you had a bit of a week when it comes to 2D and I was gonna say 2D and 3D games, but
Yeah,
2D and VR games. Um,
legacy games is what I call the flat games now.
um, take it away. What have you been playing?
All right, I'll start with my VR playing. I got this game.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give some context first. Used to love Wipeout series on PlayStation 2, and I think I also played it on the PlayStation 4. I skipped the
Yeah.
PlayStation 3. So it's a game called Flash Out 3.
Mm-hmm.
I assume it's the third in the series. I never played a Flash Out game prior,
Mm-hmm.
and it plays identical to Wipeout. First person, and it's flat screen and VR. I played VR, of course,
Right.
and it is pretty fast. Feels pretty cool. Once I got used to it, it's pretty fun. I've sunk a little over an hour into it, I think, maybe 90 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm enjoying myself. I'm starting to unlock some things. It took me the first you had to do, was it like called a circuit? I had to do the first circuit over and over again, like 4 or 5 times before I had enough credits. Yeah, before I knew what I was doing. Pretty fun. I don't know that I can really recommend it. It's pretty fast. If you you need to have your VR legs. Every time your ship blows up, which is like multiple times a race generally, it flips you over for some godforsaken reason. So that's a bit unnecessary and uncomfortable. And there are a couple parts in the course where barrel rolls are sort of designed into the course.
It's like a drifting kind of thing.
I kind of had fun with it. There are bits and pieces that can be better optimized. There was one time I think I finished top 3 and they do a celebration type of deal, but for some reason my left eye was white, like part of the celebration, and my right eye was seeing other things. Nearly had a seizure. It was, I just had to shut my eyes and hope, and just press buttons until the menu changed.
Now, is the VR mode, is it in third person still, or does it put you in first person?
First person. I didn't even try to change it. You might be able to change it. I didn't. Yeah, it was just first person. You can. I had my body showing. You can turn that off. I swear, the first race I did, my ship, I could see my ship around me.
Yeah.
And every race after that, it was only like my cockpit that was rendered, and none of my ship was rendered, but it was still existed. Like, but it was just clear for some reason, see through. I don't know if it was a bug or is designed to be that way because it's just too much there. No clue.
Seems it has
I don't know.
some kinks to iron out, but I guess it's a 2D game that they've just brought VR support to, right? How does it work compared to F1? Like, how does the visuals strike out, and how does it feel?
Visually it's not quite as visually nice as F1, but it's got cool bright lights. You're in some futuristic cities, lava and whatnot. You know, it's more arcadey. And I get it. It's got air brakes, left, right. There's three different weapon choices, and I just enjoy the arcade racing. It's pretty fun. There's no online multiplayer yet, though.
Oh, okay.
So
that's fine. But it's still, I mean, I can think. I mean, I used to love the Wipeout games. I remember the first one on PS1 very, very well. And yeah, I can see that being a motion sick disaster potentially. Like potentially.
Yeah.
It's a fast game. That's fast. That's why I could see it working really well in third person, but I could see the first person could be problematic for some. Like it'd be harder to get into.
It's gotten to the point where I almost wish it felt faster, but I'm not in the fastest of the ships yet. But yeah, it's not easy on the stomach, I imagine. And the bizarre thing about blowing you up and just like barrel roll for no reason. That's awful.
Is this on Steam?
Anyway, I also got into another driving game, Vehicular Rampage, which is available on Tab Games, who's the developer of Samurai Slaughterhouse, via his Patreon. He's added a lot more blood effects, like the little pieces of the body go onto the windshield when you hit them. The screams are hilarious, and there's a second level. Finally unlocked it. Pretty dope. Recommend getting on his Patreon for a month just so you can download it.
Yeah, or like it's also coming to App Lab, or is it just released on App Lab as well? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. It either just released or it's about to be coming.
He does get more, like I think it's $10, and Justin does get more money, obviously, when you go through
the Patreon.
Through Patreon. So if you can support him that way instead, it's just like a little hobby project whilst he's developing Samurai Slaughterhouse. So yeah, it looks like you can have a lot of fun in it.
Yeah, and he hasn't released a build for Samurai Slaughterhouse in a couple weeks. He was doing every Friday, but that's because he's got some big restructuring coming, and I think next Friday, definitely one of the next two, he's going to release it, and I'm pretty pumped about that.
Yeah. So
if you're interested in trying that out, now might be a good time to hop in, or just wait for it to release. Your call.
Definitely. Give me a 2D game that you've been going.
Yes. Big fan of the Geometry Wars series.
Really,
Geometry Wars 2 was my favorite, but that's only on 360. Can't get it anymore, so I've been playing Geometry Wars 3. I go back, the only mode, I mean, I like most of the modes, but the only mode I focus on is pacifism. I'm a pacifist kind of guy.
Can you explain that? I can't remember what the pacifism
Yes, pacifism is... so for those who don't know, in Geometry Wars, you are a shape, and you're avoiding other shapes coming that are gravitationally pulled basically towards you.
A twin stick shooter as well.
And yes, I'm specifically describing pacifism here, so there's no shooting.
Right.
And then there are dumbbell-looking shapes, and you go through the dumbbells, the middle of them, to blow up the other shapes, and then you collect multipliers, and you avoid the ends of the dumbbells. And that's pacifism on Geometry Wars. So hopefully you got that. Maybe we show a little clip of it for the YouTube / video people.
I'll put
yeah.
yeah. That was can you do quick on a Geometry Wars, because I haven't heard of that game for so long, but that used to be when I had a PlayStation Vita. That used to be one of my favorite games. And on the early like iPhone days, when I had not an iPhone, I had an iPod Touch, when they like the App Store was there. Geometry Wars was one of the first games on there.
Really?
Yeah, and it was sick. I don't think it's on the store anymore, but it worked so well because it's a twin stick shooter. You just move your thumbs in the corners. Obviously a little bit, I would say, easier when it comes to say the Vita, because you had actual thumbsticks, but it still worked really well in Geometry Wars because it's not too complex. But yeah, I put so many hours into Geometry Wars. It's so much fun, and I can't. It's a shame that it's not on iOS anymore, because it's a really easy,
fantastic time.
Yeah, it's a really easy game to pick up on the go. I wonder if there's one on the Switch. I've not looked at it.
Geometry Wars 3 seems to be on most things, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's not on the Switch.
No, so it's not on the Switch. There's a game very similar called Debris Infinity, which looks identical to Geometry Wars, to be honest.
Gotcha.
Just looking at it now. So it looks like it's been copied. Yeah, it's called Debris Infinity. Maybe Geometry Wars was the original name and they just changed the name. It might be done by the same, I'm not sure. But yeah.
Well, I finally set my new high score. So I was pretty pumped about that. About 245 million. Good times. And then Trombone Champ, new game that came out this week.
Tell us about Trombone Champ.
Trombone Champ is a trombone-based rhythm game.
Yeah.
Where you slide the mouse up and down, and that is effectively the slide of the trombone.
Mm-hmm.
Notes come at you. You use a keyboard. Every time you want to play a note, you just press a key. And it's absurd. It's hilarious. And I do recommend it.
I love that. Trombone. Wow. I guess there's always a market for anything. There's so many odd games out there where you're like, why have people made some of this? I mean, something like Farming Simulator to me is like bizarre, but people love it.
Those simulators get pretty deep.
Yeah. Anything else?
A little bit of this unpacking game.
I mean, you streamed that to the Discord, didn't you? I remember jumping in.
Yeah, it was a good time. Basically, you just unpack this girl's apartment.
It looks like one of the most therapeutic games where you could just sit there on the couch and just, if you want some, not mindless, but like just some relaxing enjoyment.
Yeah, 100%. Which is what I was looking for that night. It was great.
Perfect.
And then we played a walkabout game with the Discord members, and big congrats to Dave with another win.
Dave crushes it. I feel like Dave might be the best player in terms of how many wins he has. We don't have like a running total, but like it's very hard to catch Dave on an off day. It seems like on Wednesday he turns up. He brings his A game.
And then Dave did pose a question to the Discord, asking if anybody asks questions. And the answer is yes, Dave, you just did.
Yes, you asked a question.
Feel free to come on down to the Discord and ask any questions you want, regardless of what Dan says. We'll take any question.
Yeah, any question will do. Any question is fine. I mean, we did get the PC question, so
this is true. Yeah, but not in the questions. That came in a different thread, I think.
I mean, I don't know if it's a he or she, but whoever they are, it's brand new. You know,
they're
brand new.
No qualms. Yeah,
no qualms. I'd love to have some more questions on the show for sure.
I'll begin this question with, what did you get into this week?
What did I get into? Okay, so I said I was going to play Into the Radius this week. I still haven't. I've played a ton of NFL Pro Hour. I'm still playing it. It's weird, right? I remember saying on the show when we did the games out this week, I was like, I'm probably not I'll wait for reviews or whatever, not that interested. But for some reason, I just, I got it in, tried it, and I love it. It's so much fun. I'm also trying to like write a review or do a like review video for it, but I want to win the Super Bowl first before I kind of put that out. So
need that for the video.
Yeah, need to hold that Lombardi trophy up in the air, considering I think my record now is, I think it's 8-1. I lost one game.
Nice.
I lost one game because this is another issue that the game's
Your defense.
It wasn't the defense. No, it was my coach. It was my coach's fault, right? So I last week on the show I gave you a more in-depth rundown of what it was like. So definitely go check out last week if you want to hear more of my thoughts. But just want to throw out another qualm is that sometimes the coach makes questionable plays, and it'd be nice if you could override the coach. For example,
can't you audible though? You can audible.
Yes, but no. Yeah, bear with me here. Bear with me. So
I'm barren.
We're in the fourth quarter. Okay, we're 1 point down. And I can't remember who we're playing. I feel like we played the Seahawks, which is even worse, right? We're 1 point down to the Seahawks. I'm the Saints. My team is the Saints. I don't really vocalize that because we're not very good. But anyway, we're 1 point down by the Seahawks, okay? And we're in the what we got? We got about 10 seconds left or 15 seconds left, okay? And it's what is it? I think the yardage, I think we're about 50 yards in. I think it's in the middle or so, right? And it's like, okay, we don't have much time here. Okay, we're going to have to kind of maybe get it to a field goal range and then punt it, okay? I don't think I get to the quote-unquote field goal range, but it's still, is it like a 52-yard kick or something like that, or a 50-yard kick?
Coach is like, send the team out there.
Fourth down. That's it. He opts to punt it. And I was like, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why don't you go for the kick here? We've literally got no seconds left. I think we're 20, maybe 15 seconds left now. Okay, and we're fourth down. Okay, I put a bit of blame on myself. My throwing arm was just not right in that game for some reason. I just couldn't make a play. It was one of those days, But the coach, come on. What's the coach doing?
Listen, there be coaches.
Just get
coaches making questionable decisions.
Just let my boy Will Lutz go up for the kick. It's 52 yards. He might miss it, but at least there's drama. That's only the one time actually that it's happened like that. A lot of the times though, if you're closer, they will either punt it or they'll just go, okay, you're just gonna take on fourth down. You're just gonna go for it and do it. So yeah. Another bug in the game. This is why I don't want to do like a review video until I finish it.
The game is you are the quarterback. You're not the coach, right? So that's sort of why
the coach is dumb. I tell you now, like if the coach does that in real life, I'm screaming at the coach. I'm screaming at the coach. It would be nice to override the coach a little bit, and it would be nice to. I mean, you can in terms of plays. Like he'll choose a play, and then when you're set,
but not situations.
Yeah, but not actual situations. So, that would be more frustrating if I was playing multiplayer and I was against somebody, Now I'm in the league. If that was a Super Bowl, I'd be peed off.
Yeah.
But it's okay. We're not there yet. We've still got a lot of games left to play.
Well, on your way.
Yeah, we're about, I think, 8 games left or 6 games left. The 8 or 6 games left, yeah. But then we got the playoffs. So yeah, after I finish that, then I'll put out a review. But I'm still thoroughly enjoying it. And then what else did I play? I played I guess I should quote on this. Played Walkabout, played the new course. We can't really say anything because it's embargoed. But on Thursday we will have a video out on the channel and up on the podcast streams, I assume, of us playing in the actual new course of Walkabout, and then we'll talk about our thoughts properly in there. So yeah, we gotta wait till Thursday for that video. So I won't say anything about that apart from if it's gonna be good or not. You just know, right? So played a bunch of that, and then I also jumped into Horizon Worlds quite a lot. So I've been just playing around with the tools in there because I feel like with the Cambio or Quest Pro coming out or getting shown in a couple of weeks, these Horizon tools are all going to be fleshed out really well. I feel like they can't release like $1,000+ headset with some of these modes still in beta. So I was just playing around with it. I was trying to create like a little studio for us, and it's not like it's difficult. It just takes time, It takes time, and
a lot of time to create. Yeah,
a lot of time to create. it's really easy to pick up, but hard to master, kind of thing. Like anyone can make shapes. You got the asset store is fun. I brought a mini golf game into the world and such, but yeah. So I jumped into that for a bit. And I think that's it on the VR front. In terms of 2D gaming, I was just playing Mario Odyssey yesterday. I've already completed
Nice.
it, but I just started a fresh game because I just wanted to sit on the balcony and play. But yeah, that's what I've been
Oh, I
doing.
did. I did also get into. Finally met up with my buddy's son and
Mm,
played a game of the Walkabout. Actually, it was the same course I played with Dave and Kim,
hmm
and Jenna. Always leaving her out. Um, which was
We love you, Jenna.
the Gothic hard. Uh, and kid did pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Had a great
Mhm.
time. We played the first 17, which I was great that he had to leave right before the 18th hole, which I timed out on when I played with the Discord gang. So
Nice.
it's
And
okay.
it was I saw that you posted a video on the Patreon group with you teaching the walls of VR.
Yeah, yeah, he was at his ball in the game, but I guess his ball was in the real wall. Like he
hmm
couldn't physically get to the ball, even though it was right in front of him. So I was trying to teach him to walk to the middle of his play space. I know he's in like a 12 by 12 play space. And I was like, just walk to the middle of your room and then teleport and
Mm.
you're good.
Yeah, nice, nice. It picks it up very, very easily, actually. To
Yeah,
be honest, it seemed like he understood exactly what you wanted him to do. So yeah,
yeah,
nice and intuitive. Fantastic.
yeah, he got it.
Awesome. All right, so that's what we've been playing, but a 2D gaming mixed into there. Let's go on to the news, and obviously, kind of the news, and in a way, the main news story of the show is the Pico 4. Pico 4 got revealed last week in a I think a well put together event, to be honest. It was very Apple and it was very meta. It was like they combined both of the presentations together. I was kind of laughing throughout when I was watching the stream, because there was a lot of graphics that was just straight out of Apple's keynote. And I was like, that's exactly the same how they show off the speeches and such. But obviously the Pico 4 got revealed, and the Pico 4 Pro, which is more of an enterprise one. It's
No
four
price point though.
not for the Pro one, no.
Yeah,
Maybe they're waiting on MetaQuest a little bit
100,
because
100%.
yeah, they said they're going to announce it at AWE in Lisbon, which is, I believe, at the end of October, and by then we'd already know exactly what the price point is for Quest. Now, it's interesting. So the Pico 4 will not be released in the US as of now. Um, they've not really said if it will in the future or not. All they've said
Yeah.
is like Singapore and some other country, I can't remember. Maybe Indonesia is also getting it at some point, but they didn't say anything about US. But the enterprise one is. The enterprise one is coming to the US, which is interesting. It's 429 euros, which is, just to equate it to Quest 2, the Quest 2 is 450 euros, so it's pretty much in the same ballpark. Um,
Yeah, very, very similar.
yeah, very, very, very similar. Exactly the same price. Samson, what were your
But
initial
you
thoughts?
do
Yeah.
get more bang for your buck in that it's like a good nearly everything other than the XR2 chip is an upgrade over the Quest.
Yeah, I mean the actual. Well, let's kind of get into it. Let's kind of get into it. First of all, what was your kind of initial thoughts when you watched it?
Oh, I thought the whole thing was pretty cool. Um, if you are in the countries that it's selling in,
hmm
definitely be more intrigued. I am not. And honestly, if I had a Quest 2, or I do have a Quest 2, I guess, uh,
You have a couple.
I wouldn't be inclined to upgrade, but if I didn't have one,
hmm
I would be inclined to go this route. Perhaps. If I had a PC, 100%.
Yeah.
If I don't have a PC, a little more questionable software wise.
Mm.
But
Mm.
I mean, they got a pretty decent catalog, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's pales in comparison to
I mean, they've got Just Dance as an
Oculus.
exclusive right there. So is that a deal breaker for you? You need your Just Dance fix.
Only Lady Gaga.
Right, right, right. I forgot about that. Big Gaga fan over there.
Yeah.
Um, I I was a little bit impressed. At the same time, I was like, there's a lot of copycat, involved. There's not much originality. There is a little bit. So the original stuff that I thought was really cool was, first of all, balancing the weight. So the actual the strap that they give you is like an elite strap in a way. But it has the batteries in the actual back part of the strap, kind of like the one with the battery pack, So the batteries have come out the headset, it makes the front of the headset lighter, but then it's kind of average. Like I think it's around 250 grams in the front, 250 in the back.
Yeah, it's very even.
Yeah, it's very balanced. The headset's really small and thin because I've used pancake lenses. So comparing that to the Quest 2 looks like ancient
thick.
hardware.
Looks thick
with like 4 C's, maybe 5 C's,
real thick.
Obviously the same price point. They're obviously, they're TikTok guides, so they're obviously subsidizing it a lot. I really like the controllers. I really like what they did with the Ring. I think that's probably the best way I've seen the Ring, because it doesn't collide and it's still quite small.
I've got a question though. Like if you're doing the like if you're trying to hold on to another gun, like if you're shooting with one and then you're trying to, you know what I mean? Like when you balance, like I feel like it might get more in the way of that, but I don't know. I have a hard time with the geometry of the whole thing. They do look cool.
I see what you mean. I think it's an interesting one. It might be something that we just have to hold to see, because it looks like if you're left-handed, it will work better if you're holding 2 hands on a gun than right-handed. I don't know. I'm not sure.
It looks better for 10% of the population.
Hey, yeah, it's got. I do like the intention of the Ring though, because I do have that issue with the Quest 2 of hitting the rings together sometimes when they're close. Obviously the PSVR 2 has these massive orbs, right? But if you look at them closely, they also have the same, where they're not going to hit each other if you bring them close to each other.
They're a bit tighter,
yeah, they're a little bit tighter too. I also like the fact that it's got color path-through. It has a camera right in the middle of the headset. Okay, so it's
like Cambria.
Yeah, it has a vent at the bottom as well, which could help with airflow. Obviously, we talked about the pancake lenses. Overall, I think it's solid, but to me, it feels like a 2.5 in terms of a Quest. Like a Quest, if Meta wasn't bothered about the Cambria and released like a Quest upgraded version, like the PS4 Pro, like an incremental upgrade. It's still an upgrade, but it's not like a full generation leap. I think this is what the Pico 4 is. I don't think it's a full generation leap. I mean, it's using the same chip, right? So it's the same powerfulness. The headset looks like it's way more comfortable. The resolution is a little bit better. It's still using LCD panels, I believe. And I feel like the controller tracking, color pass-throughs, these are like just little extras, but they don't actually. It's not a new generation. It's not like it's not like some games that will come out in the next year could only run on Pico 4, not Quest 2. It'll be the exact same, right?
For sure.
And it kind of gets me excited for Quest 3 more than anything, because then I can see Quest 3 being the actual generation leap. Has a newer chipset. It looks like the Pico 4 in terms of its thinness.
I mean, it just gets me excited for all things VR. As Eric for President likes to put, a rising tide raises all ships.
Sure.
I believe that's how it goes.
I'm not well versed in my naval metaphors, but I'll take it.
You must learn.
I know. I love the shanty songs.
More. You need more idioms in your repertoire.
I love the shanty songs, though. I'm a big fan of the shanty songs. As you can see, I'm under the sea. I'm singing shanties on this.
I just picture friggin' Little Mermaid every time you say "under the sea."
Under the sea.
In stereo.
A couple things that I really like from Pico 4. I just wrote this down. I just wanted to bring it up. Remote assistance. I don't know if you heard about this one. It kind of slid it in there, I would say. So remote assistance allows them to you can share. Let me just put the quote in. It might be easier for me to explain here. It says, I can share my headset video stream to anyone else's personal device, and then they can either voice message or chat with me, or even use their finger, just one finger. And I'll see a silhouette of the finger on my display to basically give me support. So the idea of that is it's kind of similar to what PlayStation does, in a way that in PlayStation, if you're on a game, say you're stuck, you can invite a friend to kind of give you hints or something. You can kind of live stream it to them so they can give you hints. I think in PlayStation, you take a step further when the actual person can jump into the game with them, but you can't do that here. But someone could be watching your device. It's kind of nice because, like, say if you're in the same room with somebody else and you've given them the VR headset and they're playing on it, and you want to give them tips, you can still watch them, and you can put your finger in there. So if you, instead of saying, hey, go left and push your thumbstick this way, blah, 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 you can just put the silhouette exactly where they need to go, and it might be easier for them to visually understand where they're going.
100%. And I feel like it could be cool for asymmetrical games, maybe you're on that device and you can send fog or send baddies or help somebody out with some ammo or something like this.
Yeah, or be like a horror kind of game where you're streaming the horror game and people on Twitch can put in certain commands and they can trigger certain like jump scares or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I can see it going that far. And that's the first thing that I really liked. And the second thing that I really liked was the fitness band. So they're planning to release a fitness band next year, in 2023. And it's not like another Apple Watch or anything like that. It's essentially another 2 trackers. So you kind of put them on your ankles or put them on your wrist, and then the headset can track you. So like if you say you're playing a soccer game, I can see this working really well in Rezzil, Player 2022, because they have like NFL kind of American football and soccer drills and such like that. You could put those fitness trackers on your feet or on your ankles rather, and then you can now do the soccer drills, for example.
How I'm unclear on like how well the thing tracks. So
yeah, it's up for debate. But I mean, there's it's literally putting extra 2 trackers on your legs, right? So it's I would say the only issue is that can that headset see those trackers?
Yeah.
And I know from like I'm looking down at my ankles right now, and I can see because of my shorts, I can't really see my ankles. So it's not like the trackers will have cameras in them or anything like that. And it's not like the Vive trackers where they can be. Those Vive trackers are phenomenal. I don't think it's going to be as top because they're only $50.
Yeah, it's not going to come close to it. Yeah.
No. But yeah, seems pretty nice. Anything else? Did you anything else that kind of stood out for you in the Pico?
No, not particularly. Like I said, if you own a Quest 2, I don't think you should really be thinking about upgrading. No real point.
No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Did you see the menu system, by the way? It's exactly the same.
I was gonna say, okay, yeah. I wasn't sure what you were getting at. I was like, I'm pretty certain it looked identical to Meta's.
Pretty much identical.
But yeah, it's what works, right? Like everybody's right now pretty early stages. It's all right, people are familiar with this. This works. Like we're gonna do this. There's no reason to completely change how you interact with something just to be different, and then it stinks and nobody can figure out anything. Like they want to get people from Quest to Pico, so to make that transition easier right now only makes sense.
I would have liked to see them they put their own spin on something. It's like, for example, the PlayStation UI looks nothing like the Xbox UI. And okay, I have a PlayStation. I've had the Xbox as well. I think the PlayStation UI is really clean, and really easy to navigate. Xbox maybe a little bit more difficult. But then some people like that one instead. I think the UI changes are kind of welcome. I think if I had an Xbox as well and it just had the same kind of UI as PlayStation, it would look a bit odd, especially if the games play the same thing. I wish they kind of pushed a little bit more in terms of social hubs. So say if you're in your Oculus world or in your Pico world, you could just bring people in your party just in your like home environment. I wish that was something that they kind of pushed, but I think Quest will do that, to be honest. And that's something that they will bring. So yeah, it was a little bit too much of a copycat to me, in order to love it. But at the same time, I really want to try it.
That's
and plus,
cool. Yeah.
It's coming out in regions that you can't buy the Quest.
Get one for your dad.
The Pico? No, I'd rather just get him the Quest. I'd rather just. I was umming and ahhing. I saw the 128 gig Quest. There was people selling it here in Vancouver, and only for $350 Canadian for 128. Yeah. And I was like, oh, that looks pretty good. I could get that, and then I could give the 64 to my dad when I go home next month or so. But yeah, I don't know. Thinking about it. But I just want to see this Quest Pro first. I just want to see what that's all about.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But yeah, so yeah, that's the Pico 4 reveal. Like to me, it's a 2.5. I would say, yeah, just like you said, Samson, if you have a Quest, I don't see any reason why you should get one. But if you don't have one now and you're thinking which one to go for, compelling argument. At the same time, I'm thinking Quest 3 will be out in 1 year's time. So, I don't know.
Probably so, yeah. But side note, if you're looking to spend just a little bit of money, want to help support us a little bit, LTO, look at this sweet hoodie I got on. It's
cozy.
Finally that hoodie weather.
Finally that hoodie time.
And let me tell you, the Let's Talk Oculus hoodies are nice.
Yeah, it's called the premium hoodie, right? Where can people get those?
There'll be a link in the description.
Yeah, spring is on spring, but yeah, there will be a link in the description. You can buy those hoodies. There will be new merch coming out soon. I am in the process of designing them. So I don't know.
Well, you get on it quick. The OG stuff, you got to do it now.
Yeah, will the OG stuff go?
It won't be on the store anymore. Won't be able to find it. Limited editions.
One thing's for sure, not on this one because that's a nice hoodie, but some of the t-shirts on the back has our old logo on, so that will 100% be changed to the new logo. So if you want a retro piece, something vintage, links in the description if you want any merch. I'm definitely gonna give myself some merch for sure because my one t-shirt I've shrunk in the wash, so that's why I don't wear. That's why I don't wear it often.
Gosh, rookie mistake. Anyway, moving right along. Bonelab.
Yeah, let's talk about Bonelab. Before we get into Bonelab, Samson, you played Boneworks or
no, I've had it installed.
All right, cool. Yeah, great. All right, let's go to Bonelab then. Bonelab released a weird trailer to me because they released a trailer and it didn't feel like a trailer. It just felt like a normal gameplay. Yeah, it didn't feel like any trailer that I've seen. It just feels like gameplay, but until right at the end and they say it is coming out this Thursday. Out of the blue, it's done a classic meta kind of launch. Back in the day, they used to do this all the time, or early this year rather. Comes out on Thursday 29th. People are going crazy over it. Absolutely crazy.
Yeah, I didn't actually watch the trailer. I watched like 5 different videos of people watching the trailer. Just so I could really understand what was going on. The Avatar stuff, it looks pretty cool. And I'm intrigued. I'm not going to pick this up right away. No. I'll watch people's videos that they make with it. I'm curious about that. You can import any avatar and play the game as an avatar. That's pretty cool. That in and of itself is pretty cool. Imagine playing any like single player game out there as whoever you want to be.
As Fry from Futurama or something like that. Yeah. I don't know why I thought about that. The big thing about avatars though is that not only does it change the aesthetics of the avatar, it completely changes the physics of the person you're in. So what's amazing, you can change as you'll see it in the trailer. It's on the video version right now, but you can definitely see the trailer on YouTube. But you can play like through a mission or campaign or through any kind of mode that you do in Bonelab as one kind of player, but then as you're just going through certain aspects of the game, maybe you need someone who's taller to kind of get to a lever at the top. Maybe you need someone who's lighter and small who can get somewhere, you know. You can just change it just like that. And it's not even like you got to go in the menu system, you know. I didn't say this on the what we've been playing, but I did jump into Ocarina of Time, Legend of Zelda on the Switch very briefly. But to change from your like to put your boots on, your water boots on in the water temple, you have to go menu, water boots, equip, save. Yes, I want to save. And then you're in the water boots. Then you get right to the bottom. Okay, start menu, unquip, save. So this, you know,
A lot of
we've
button
come
clicks.
a long way. We've come a long way, and now we can just in Bonelab, you can literally kind of it's like a string on the wrist where you kind of pull the string and it goes through different characters or different. And they built a bunch of them in. There's one massive guy. There's one like muscly guy. There's just your own build. There was an anime girl in there as well with a completely different art style as well. There was like a ninja girl as well, which the nice thing about that is that you were super fast as well. And you can change all the attributes for at least the custom ones. Obviously, you can change attributes. So I think that's going to make a massive impact because it's not just change. It's not like a VR chat where you just change your avatar for looks. It actually has an impact on the game, which is
they each have weight.
Yeah,
if you will.
Yeah, for sure. And they have cars in there. Those little go-karts. Not on the trailer. So there's one person, his name's Node on YouTube. I've never heard of him, but he has 3.5 million subscribers.
Wow.
So, you know, and I just typed in Bonelab this morning because of just before the show, and his was the first video that came up. And 2 days ago, I think he posted a video and it has like over 100,000 views. I mean, it does also have a picture of a big boobed woman as your avatar.
Yeah, because you can play with your boobs.
Yeah. So I think he's got the clickbait that way. But it's not actually it's a weird thumbnail because the actual content is really good. He gets invited to the Steamworks, is it Steamworks? Steam Labs?
I wonder if you had an avatar with balls that were really big and heavy that could like slow you down, or they could get caught on something.
Yeah, because us guys do have some ball issues when it comes to how heavy they are, you know.
I mean, this is an avatar. It could be anything. You could have saggy ball guy, you know.
You could
avatar.
You could have balls on the chin, you know.
Yeah.
You could
like
do
Family Guy. Yeah.
You could do whatever you want, but I just wanted to shout out his video. I know he's already got 3.5 mil. You know, he's good.
Struggling out there.
He's good, but it's a good.
He
video
could really use our boost.
It's a good video because the developers actually go through the game a little bit and they just show the avatars in more detail in terms of what you can do. It's like 13 minutes, but it's definitely worth the watch. Just gives you a bit more backstory. All the other videos I've seen are just people reacting and saying how good it is, but this one was actually okay. This guy actually got access and such. One also really awesome thing that I saw was that you can, like, obviously some people want to play standing, some people want to play seated, right? But they really thought about that. So instead of having to go into the menu and change it to seated mode or standing mode or anything like that, it automatically kind of adjusts your game. So if you sat down, it knows you sat down, and then it changes it, automatically kind of. And as you stand up, you're still in a good perspective. So, I kind of like that in terms of the accessibility. At the same time, going back to my Medal of Honor days, I'm always jumping down, going behind cover and such. I wonder how that's going to work. And I think also not having leg tracking in Quest might be a little bit disappointing, because I think this game would be amazing if you could kick,
Yeah, I'm very curious how they'll do kicking.
Will they do kicking
just in general? Yeah.
Will they do kicking? So you're not like too excited about it, you're just more excited about other people?
I'm excited for it and what it potentially will do for Rising the Tide of VR. It is not, I mean, the story, this one does seem to have a better, more thought out, more thorough story, if you will.
Yeah.
A deeper story than Boneworks. But I don't know. I got Blade and Sorcery to mess around with in physics and like kill people or whatever. I'm excited for the creating that'll happen. I'll probably get it eventually and play it,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't have the creativity or the time to be modding it myself or whatever. So I'll play other people's creations.
All I can say is this, and we'll kind of end on this, is that I think Julian, aka Techman Jew, is gonna have a field day with this one on TikTok. An absolute field day. Because it is like Blade and Sorcery in terms of those ragdoll physics, but I think Blade and Sorcery, if you type that in on TikTok or something or YouTube, there's so many YouTubers who just do Blade and Sorcery and such. And I think this is another game that's gonna, in fact, it'd probably be even more popular than Blade and
The
Sorcery.
fact that you can, I mean, I guess you can modding Blade and Sorcery, you can, but you can import, you could be anybody. Like you could basically make your own TV shows using other people's creations, basically. I don't know how trademarking and whatnot will work, but whatever. I'm excited.
I feel
it's
like
cool.
anyone,
It's a Wild West.
Like I said, you could see somewhere like, I don't know, Stewie Griffin goes on a rampage in this game or something like that.
Stewie finally kills Lois or something.
Yeah. I'm not something like that. Something like that. But yeah, anyway, that's Bonelab. I don't think I'm gonna pick it up, to be honest, because I have too much of a backlog.
Look at you. Look at you and your backlog.
I really want to jump into the Radius, and I will do at some point, and I really want to play Walking Dead before that inevitably comes out in a month's time. So
it's almost October. Should I start playing these scary games?
I feel like if you're going to, I feel like this needs to be a live stream.
Yeah, honestly, I enjoyed the Monday night hanging out, playing game with the patrons on Discord, as opposed to like a live stream. It's just way easier for me. I can like hear people, and I know there's not going to be that many people. So I might, Monday and Tuesday nights. I know this is coming out after that, but going forward, probably. I might try to stream to the patrons on Discord if that interests anybody. And going in October, I might try some scary games, and I could use the company.
I think that actually could be a good. We'll talk about that after the show or something. I think that'd be a good like Patreon exclusive.
Yeah.
Of just having live streams. I don't know if I could do any of that because I don't have a PC, but definitely you can definitely do that. That might be a good fun exclusive.
You could join on the audio.
Yeah, I'll join on the audio. I'll just be screaming. I'll just be screaming like just terror.
Yeah, you'll be my jump scares.
Yeah, I'll be your jump scares. Anywho, I mean, it would be when Among Us comes on. That also be a really fun live stream.
Real pumped
game.
For that.
Definitely. All right, so that was Bonelab. Let's jump into our next news story, and that kind of goes hand in hand. Meta demonstrates Quest 2 body tracking without trackers. So essentially, what happened was the Meta researchers had put out a little video of them just demonstrating leg tracking working in the Quest using all the Quest hardware. There's no external hardware or anything like that. And I think it's just using AI to kind of not accurately, but like kind of predict exactly where
it looked pretty good. Guy looks a little drunk, but it looked pretty good.
It looks pretty good. I mean, I don't think it's going to be able to do something like a kick or anything like that. It doesn't look like it could because they were just, kind of walking around in a spot or so.
I think there's a lot of input lag as well, but I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, I think it's going to get to a stage where it's going to be good enough for Horizon Worlds and Workrooms because they're bringing leg support to that. Leg support.
It's third person leg support, if you will. Like you can't see your own legs, you can see other people's legs.
I wonder if that's because if you look down, your cameras are in a weird position that they won't be able to see your legs as well.
It's because they can't get them exactly to where your legs are, but other people don't know where your legs are, so it doesn't matter if it's exact for them. Whereas it's immersion breaking if you look down and you see your legs are like where your legs
all over the place. Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense actually. And then they can also predict exactly where your legs are, judging on what your body is and such. I don't think you'll be able to do a lunge in this,
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to be fitness tracking. Cool, but it's like it's pretty nice.
It bodes well for the future, but not much there.
Yeah.
Not much meat on that bone.
not much been on the phone, but like I said, connectors in 2 weeks. I'm actually very excited now because I don't think much of that stuff is going to be applicable to kind of what we do, but it's just
You
gonna be
remember last year's, right, where it was just all futuristic stuff and it was like an investor
yeah,
meeting
yeah, yeah, yeah,
presentation? Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
But the
Just
fact that
making
we
sure
have
you haven't
hardware,
forgotten what is this could probably just be.
the fact that we have hardware actually launching though is exciting. Even though I'm like 99% not going to buy the hardware, but I'm just excited to see what it can do because this is their pro headset that can do probably everything that they can throw at it for now,
Yeah.
right? Um, and that's just exciting to see, just cool tech.
I also think I've made some decisions. I'm not in any way going to get Cambria or Quest
Oh,
Pro,
okay,
and
okay.
I'm also probably not going to get PSVR 2 for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm on the wait list for the Tilt 5, and that will be coming early 2023, I believe. So that's where I'm putting my cards. Gonna be having a blast in some AR games with
Wow,
that. Anyway,
that's wow.
yeah.
That'd be amazing if you can get it for sure. Is there any like price point for the Tilt 5 or anything like that? Or was it just a wait
Oh,
list
there's
for
a
now?
price point. There's a price point. I paid $5 to be on the reservation or whatever.
Yeah.
And then there are a few they released before you could only buy one with one pair of glasses or whatever. And now there's sort of multiplayer sets. The three person one is
Mm.
900 and like $70, something like this.
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at it. It's actually only 359 for one person. That's pretty cool. All
Yeah.
right, so you're jumping into the AR space.
Yeah.
I mean, some say that the Cambria can do AR quite well, but I
Yeah.
guess it's not an exactly ever. Oh, hey, I want to get the PSVR 2, so I'll be able to talk about that on the channel. You'll have the tilt. It's
Yeah.
fine. We're
All
getting
our
more
bases.
diverse in terms of what we're doing in VR or AR
Exactly.
and such.
Exactly.
Anywho, let's move on to the final news story here and get a game for you. You love your cubism. Maybe not as
I
much
do love it.
racism,
Yeah.
but you love your cubism. They've just added a level editor because you're saying how creative you were and how much you want to go into Bonelab to show off your creativity. There's now a level editor, so you can kind of create your own levels in a way.
This one
Um,
more intriguing. Yeah.
yeah, it's offline for now, but the dev Thomas Van, is it Bovell or Bowell? But I'm butchering the last name. Let's just say
TVB.
our boy TVB, yeah, our boy TVB, he quoted saying, I am looking into maybe adding online puzzle sharing at some point, but at first I want to put out this feature, see how people react to it, what people make with it, and see what kind of demand is being able to share puzzles in the future. Obviously, like you said, you're not much of a creative type, but does this excite you a little bit?
Oh, definitely. And you can share them. You'll be able to save them as files on your Quest, download them on your PC or wherever else you get files, and then share them that way.
Mm-hmm.
So there will be a way to share puzzles that you create with people you want to share them with.
Yeah.
The editor looked pretty cool from what I saw in the trailer. Looked pretty intuitive.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine these can get pretty hard pretty quickly for Cubism.
For
Like
sure.
it's a tough. I've never beaten it. Like
Mm.
those puzzles got too hard for me,
Mm.
and then I gave up.
Mm-hmm.
I should probably go back and try again, but eventually, like there's a math curve, I'm sure, to puzzles and their difficulty, and when you give up and when you
Yeah.
stop returning, but when you like that challenge to keep pushing, and then
Mm-hmm.
you get the dopamine hit when you finally do it.
Yeah.
I stopped getting dopamine from that game quite some time ago.
Yeah, the cubes don't just the shapes don't do it for you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool. And if anybody creates any puzzles out there, want to share them, come on down to the Discord. I'll take them. I'll try them out.
Yeah, that'll be.
Challenge accepted.
I don't know who else plays Cubism. Maybe Kimberly in the Patreon plays it. I think she's mentioned it before, to be honest. I don't,
I
but
mean, it should be on everybody's Quest. It's $10 out there. This dude's awesome. He keeps updating it. It's a great game to show off VR. It's got the pass-through mode, so you can play if you need to be able to see people. It's chill. It gets hard.
It just gets hard. You know what? I'm not gonna lie. I'll admit it right now. I have not played this game. Never played this game. I know well about it.
It's also small. It'll fit on your little tiny little tiny quest.
Yeah. I did have to delete a couple things the other day when I had to install
NFL.
No,
NFL's pretty big though, isn't it?
NFL is big. Well, not that big. It's like 2-3 gig. That's kind of big. You know, it's not your Medal of Honors or anything. But it was when I was downloading Horizon Worlds, which is like 600 meg or something at the time, and just couldn't do it. Couldn't handle it. Anyway, let's wrap up the show here. Let's tell you what games are out this week. Samson, do you want to start? I just feel a bit sorry for this game that that Bonelab's come in at taking its release date.
Yeah. Well, hey, Walkabout Course coming out on the same day too.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we'll be in. That's where we'll be in. But take it away.
Yes. Crisis Brigade 2 Reloaded coming out September 29th. The streets are being overrun. You have been handpicked as one of the elite few to go on high-risk missions and save the city. You're authorized to take down the enemy at any means possible. On your six, take cover. Crisis Brigade 2 Reloaded is about covering, pointing, and shooting. Fast-paced, pure action, intense shootouts, powerful weapons, challenging levels, fierce enemies like the 90s classic arcade machines, but with the immersion that virtual reality is capable of. I've played the first version of this game, Crisis Brigade. They've changed the V to a B to
It's on side quest, right?
Yeah, in App Lab, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And Crisis Brigade 2 is actually on Steam.
Yeah.
But they've made it more pronounceable by changing that V to a B.
Thank God.
Which is probably good. And it plays sort of like oh gosh, Sean, Dead Second. It's sort of like Dead Second. Yep.
It's also co-op.
Yeah. And it's hard. Pull. It's also very hard.
Yeah. It looked really good. I mean, I remember looking at it last week actually, and it looked really fun. But like I said, it's just unfortunate that a monumental game comes out called Bonelab releases on the same day. It's kind of a shame because they're not the same game, but they both have the big shooting mechanics, and I can see a big pull. I mean, it also depends on price point and such, but I can see Bonelab's going to be everywhere on Metastore, everywhere. Yeah. You know, that's where the marketing's going to be. So, yeah, I hope it still kind of does well. All right, second game. And
it's by the way, Crisis Brigade 2 on the Steam store is $20, so I imagine it'll be about the same.
About the same, yeah. And I assume this next one, Bonelab, which is also out on the 29th, would be maybe $40 or $30 to $40. If NFL's 30, it's gotta be around that.
It'll be whatever the hell they want it to be because people are going to buy this game
exactly
no matter what. So
I think this is our 40. I think this is gonna be the same as After the Fall because After the Fall was $40.
Survey says $40.
$40. Okay.
No, I'd say 30. I think 30. I think
30. I'm going for 40. Anyway, Bonelab, 29th of September. Sentenced to death. You embody an outcast escaping fate, discovering a pathway to a hidden underground research facility. A series of challenging experiments and discoveries await. No, this is not Portal 3. This is Bonelab. I added that bit. A road to the truth calls from the void. Physics to the core. Boneworks' realistic physics systems, fully improved and polished, interact with the game world with consistent confidence. Visceral VR combat, I said that weird, using a variety of ranged, melee, and exotic physical weapons. Can you shoot bananas? Who knows? Engage enemy encounters with an entire armory at your disposal. Be anyone you want. Custom avatar. Importing enables you to play the game however you want and physical stats to match. Layered narrative. After discovering an underground lab in Myth OS City, you will have access to a variety of game locations, including arenas, obstacle courses, tactical trials, sandboxes, experimental modes, and user-generated levels, and the list goes on. Collecting items, avatars, and clues from these locations enable you to progress through the mysterious story. Bonelab. Yeah, Bonelab. I mean, we spoke about it. I think this is going to be a massive hit.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a massive hit. And I think there's only 20 people working on it too. You know, they've been working on it throughout lockdown, essentially, all the way up to now. So Bonelab, 29th of the 9th. That's going to steal a lot of headlines, to be honest. And beware of your whole TikTok is going to be full of Bonelab, you know.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of...
I might just put out a video on the Playtest VR YouTube channel called Bonelab, you know, best game ever. And then they come in and it's just me going, haha, I haven't installed it yet. But
you've been rickrolled.
You've been rickrolled, but it's gonna be a down roll. Anywho, that wraps up our show. Obviously stay tuned for Thursday, which will be tomorrow for the general public. We will have a video, maybe a podcast out, depending on how the audio is going to do, because we're going to record it in Walkabout to kind of give you the thoughts of what Walkabout's like. It will definitely be on the Let's Talk Oculus YouTube channel. And if the audio is good, you'll see it on the podcast as well. But we'll be jumping it down. We'll be in this ship behind me, this little submarine. As you can see, I don't know what it's called because I haven't watched the film, but Samson has watched the film.
And read the book. Well, listened to the book so, twice. It was pretty good. It's a good listen.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll have a couple of perspectives. Someone who has no clue what it is, and someone who definitely does, is a full fan over there. So yeah, definitely check out that. And after that, we'll see you. I guess we'll see you in that video. We'll see you on Thursday.
Great job. Great job by you.
Yeah. Great. All right. Bye.
I finished saving the turtles. I got my LaCroix.
Oh yeah,
LaCroix. I have a hard time with that LaCroix.
Yeah,
LaCroix. I got my LaCroix.
You Americans always have a hard time with these French words, you know. LaCroix.
I particularly have trouble with the French words, and I can't roll my R's either, so a lot of Spanish words I also struggle with.
Yeah, I can't roll my R's either, to be honest. But I remember there's a film called Ford v Ferrari that came out like 2 years ago, and everywhere in Europe it's called Le Mans. I think it's called Le Mans and then 86 maybe. I might be wrong on the date, but I think it's just called Le Mans. Le Mans is the name of the actual race, but in the Americans, they just changed it to Ford v Ferrari because it's easier to say.
Much easier. Yeah. And Ford, come on. Americans love their own.
They love their Fords. They love their Ford. Americans love themselves. All right, let's get into the show. 3, 2, 1. Hold on. Is it episode 57 or 56? Blue balls.
I don't know. You wrote 57 here.
Oh, yeah. But because I wrote 56 in the script. That's why.
I never double check you. Yeah.